Welcome back to the Make a Baby podcast. I'm Carolina Sotomayor, your podcast host and Reiki womb healer. And I am so excited to be interviewing Evonna from Georgia. I've been following you for 2 years, obsessed with you, and you are probably my favorite guest I'm going to be interviewing. I already know it. We were already talking ahead of time of 2026, and you're putting on a festival that I think everyone needs to know about. And I was already like geeking out about, so like I want to know all the things. So go ahead and do your intro. Tell us who you are, what you do, and then we're going to dive into the festival.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. First, I just want to say thank you for the space and just, allowing me to come on and illuminate the festival even more. Love that for me.
We
So
love
I'm
you.
Evonna. I'm on social media as the Motherhood Healer, and I am a doula. I'm a spiritual doula. I am a perinatal community health worker, and I just love all things motherhood, pregnancy, birth. I really dig all the things in this birth work era. And recently, I have just really sat with my gifts of bringing people together. We talked earlier about the art of gathering, and that has been something that has been on my heart since high school. It just so happened that all of these years later,
Yeah, The Art of Gathering is a book.
yeah, all these years later, it just manifested into something that is a need in the community. And so I know you said earlier, like, tell me how the festival got started and all of that. And to be honest, it was from two dreams. So two people had a dream about this festival. And let me just say, the festival came at a point where I was burnt out from doula work.
That does happen.
Yeah, and I attended my first birth in college. This
Mhm.
was about 15 years ago. Like, this was a very long time. And just to kind of see, like, my birth work journey from college all the way until now, I'm in my 30s, it has had its ebbs and flows. And in 2023 was where I was just like, this is a lot. There are so many things that we have to mitigate as doulas that we don't really publicize for whatever reason, but we kind of talk amongst it with our doulas or our cohorts and things like that. But it was just becoming like so consuming because we go into these hospital spaces and, we are fighting in the ways that we know how to fight, but it truly is so much bigger than us, right? And 2023 was the year that I was just like, this is affecting my health. Like, I feel overstimulated. Like, it was just a lot going on. So, this is where the dreams come in. And I'm just going to dive right into it.
Do it. I want to soak up everything you have to give us.
Yeah, 2023, I told you, that's when I was just like, oof, I gotta take a pause on taking clients because I need to check in with myself. Like, I need to make sure that my mental, emotional health is getting more grounded because what are we doing? And while I was taking that pause, I got a call from one of my former clients, and she called me at 6 a.m. So I'm thinking, like, is something going on with the baby? Like, what's going on? But we ended up talking, and she was just like, Evonna, I'm so sorry I'm calling you this early, but I just had a dream, and you were doing this event. We had on all white. We were crying, singing on this land. It was water in the background. Like, she went into full dreaming up this whole thing. And
She had a vision.
yes, she truly had the vision. Like, she literally awoke from this dream, shared everything that was happening with the festival, and she was just like, you put on this event.
Which
So,
describes, like, from looking at your page, is the exact pictures of, like, the events you've put on.
I'm
There's, like, a
telling
lake and
you,
stuff.
listen, so nonetheless, I was thinking at the time that maybe it was motherhood moon circles because I have a spiritual moms group. We do energy work. We create honey jars and road opener oils. Like, we do all the things,
Girl,
right?
I need some of that.
So I'm
Keep
thinking
going.
I'm just thinking that the dream is an extension of a motherhood moon circle. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a bigger circle because normally the circles are about 10 to 20 women, just depending on like
That's
what's going.
amazing.
So I'm thinking that's what it is because she's been a part of these circles. And when I said it to her, she was like, this is not a motherhood moon circle. This is something else. And I was like,
The
okay.
clarity.
I'm like, okay. I just kind of sat with it for a little bit. We ended up pulling cars together. Like, it was just kind of fizzled off into something else. And
Yeah.
about 2 weeks later, I get a call from one of my doulas that's been working with me. And she said, I was sitting here working and I just had a vision of you on a podium. You had a microphone and you were literally leading this talk. Like she said, it felt like a presentation, but I'm not really sure like what exactly you were doing, but you were speaking to people. There were workshops. She too also said we were wearing all white. And I'm just mind blown. I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, I just talked to Diamond. She just told me this. So I'm literally like, I'm like freaking out, but also I'm like, okay, God, what is it that you are
Two
asking
people.
of me right now? Because keep in mind, 2023, I'm burnt out. I'm like, let me take a pause on birth work. And I don't know, like as we head into 2024, I was just like, I said to them, I said, I don't know how to do this. So if I get help along the way, if you're able to help me, like I will do what I can to make this come into fruition. And I said, let me enjoy my summer first. So a couple of months went by and literally like the end of July, I said, okay, I can't, and like, it was just kind of like, it was living in my body. Like I just knew there was something more that I was supposed to add to the work. And after I kind of dwelled on it those couple of months, by July, I was like, all right, I can't wait another month. Like, we got to get this popping because, it was just like one of those things that felt like refreshing and, invigorating. And I just
Exciting
set my
to work on.
intentions. Yeah, I set my intentions and I was just like, if this is meant for me to do this thing, give me the help. Because that's
Right.
the only way it's going to work. I kid you not. Literally, I just started Googling like how to do stuff, like how to host a festival, how to, create this event. I mean, Google only did so much, right? Because essentially I was creating a blueprint for something that not only had I never seen done, but I had never done myself. So, it was just,
I haven't seen anything like it.
yeah,
I've
it
shown it to
was,
people in Omaha and I was like, "Have you seen anything like this?" I mean, I've been to a birth conference one time, but,
yeah,
like, it's not a festival. Like, what you're doing,
yeah,
I've never seen
yeah.
done.
Let me add this part too. So when my doula Iman called me and, she was saying like, I don't know what it is. She actually said, I think it's a conference. And I was like, girl, in that way, I said, if it's outside and like all of these things are happening outside, it's given very much festival. And
Right.
as soon as I said
Celebration.
festival, we just started like screaming because I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be a festival. So that's why it was so hard for, those summer months to kind of go by and me not act on it because it was just brewing inside of me like, oh my God, how in the world am I going to do a festival? Like, what? So, it just kind of like that's the start of how the festival happened. And yeah, over time, I literally taught myself everything. But keep in mind, I had already been holding these and curating these spaces with Black women. And I said, okay, well, let's just start there. How would I curate a space? A regular event space or a workshop space or a sacred space. And I just took those tools that I had already kind of like built up over the years and I just said, all right, let's just make it bigger. So that's honestly what I did.
And for
That
anyone that's listening, this is called the Motherhood Healing Festival, and it's
yes.
in Georgia,
Yeah.
and it's to celebrate you can go ahead, it's your festival, so you can better explain it.
Yeah, so the festival is called Motherhood Healing Festival. It happens 40 miles from Atlanta in a little town called Griffin, Georgia. We actually moved to Griffin, Georgia. That's what's so crazy. We actually moved to Griffin, Georgia. So when I tell you like divine alignment, I could not have made this up. So we actually moved to Griffin, Georgia. And when we got here, I said, okay, I need to tour event spaces, like just to kind of see like where this festival could possibly happen. And we toured the space with the water. And I was like, this is the space. I don't care I don't care how much it costs. This is the space. And the venue owner was like, this is a wedding venue. She was like, this is a wedding venue. And, you know, those are $10,000, you know, lots that you're asking for. And I was just, I was so sad leaving the venue because, you know, the entire tour, she's like, oh, you could do this and you could do that. So, you know, she's like feeding into it as well. And I'm like, okay, so she must be saying yes, you know.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so afterwards she was just like, she was like, April is wedding season. So I don't know, sweetie. I'm just like,
Like, because she still wants to get that bag.
yeah, period. She was like, $10,000 versus even. So literally 3 days later, she was just like, you know what? I thought about it. You can have your festival here. And I just felt a sense of relief and like, oh my God, it's happening. So yeah, back to what you said. It's called Motherhood Healing Festival. It takes place in rural Georgia, which I love because being here in this town, you kind of see where there are changes happening. They are putting a doula program inside of, I think, the only hospital here. But as far as like events and gatherings and spaces, that's not quite here yet. And so I knew that whatever the dream was supposed to be, that it was just manifesting perfectly because I was actually in a space that really needed what we were bringing to the space. So the festival is about celebration because when you think about Black maternal health, it's always closely connected to Black women are 3 to 4 more times likely to die in childbirth and, you know, postpartum and all those things. And that is true. And we are celebrating Black pregnancy, Black birth, being mothers, transitioning into motherhood, and even the people that are thinking about having babies, which you know all about. So, you know,
Yeah.
I think that it was just one of those things where I was just like, we're not talking about people dying. Like, birth shouldn't be coupled so closely with dying in that way that it's like being married. Like, you're pregnant? Well, you know. And then it kind of just trickles off into this, like, I'm going to say trauma. I'm going to say, like, experiences that are very real, but also that is not what pregnancy and birth is about. It shouldn't always be like Black bodies are married with this trauma, all of these things. Like, we
Yeah.
are very joyful people. We love gathering, the art of gathering. Like, we love
Right.
those things. We love celebrating. And
You're shifting the paradigm,
yeah, and I feel like you can
changing the
get all of
storyline.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get
Because
all of that
stories are
somewhere
told
else.
at gatherings.
Yeah,
We're creating new storylines that I think
yeah.
are I mean, they're so life-changing when
Mhm.
I mean, the difference between you're also changing, like, and presenting people a choice not to suffer anymore. Like,
Yes.
I think I imagine, like, people are aware of, like, I mean, how inundated and it's not spoken enough about the facts, but
Yeah.
if you're not celebrated enough and there's such a relationship between trauma, these hard facts that are also
Mhm.
reality, but also like how much opportunity are you given to
Yeah.
celebrate motherhood, celebrate the transitions and all of the milestones with it, or even wanting to come into motherhood if you don't have children yet, or you're
Yeah.
thinking about pregnancy or just your womb in general. I think that what you're doing is so needed and so powerful. I was when I saw it, I was like, this quite emotional. I was like, this is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And I saw like your the pictures I had seen in the past were like you were doing different ceremonies and
Mhm.
there was petals and I was just like and as a new priestess, I was like, this is healing generations back, generations forward. This is changing because I have had ceremonies done for me for around my traumatic birth, and it changed me. You don't so the women that are going to be at your festival are changing, in my opinion, just because as a person that has been to a ceremony where women gather, when women gather, but particularly women of likeness, it changes you.
Mhm.
on a molecular level. Like I imagine I was like, oh my God, this work is so needed. Just recognizing what you stated like 3 to 4 times, like the maternal health,
Yeah.
but also just like what our gynecological care has been based off of,
Yeah.
of like just like the work that you're doing, you're changing
Hmm.
whole generations. You're changing. I think the most important thing for me when I'm looking at this is going to have a ripple effect.
I feel it and I see it. I'm telling you.
So thank you for doing the festival.
Thank you for seeing everything that we're doing because, like you said, when it comes to suffering, I feel like this festival is offering people a choice.
Yes.
Because even if you haven't really been around people, spiritual people, or priestesses, and people that are embodied in their work and how they show up in the community, you are gathering with these people just like they're gathering with you. And everyone is kind of just like bouncing off of each other's energy. Like,
I'm getting
it's
emotional just
very
thinking
high
about it.
vibrational. It's very high vibrational. And like, I'm telling you, I was walking around the festival. Like, this is around the time that the workshops and everything were taking place. So last year we had a few different workshops. We had a Spirit Babies workshops for
That's
people
me.
that, yes, for
I'm into
people
the
that
Spirit Babies.
see, so we had a Spirit Babies workshop for people that had experienced loss in some form
Yeah,
and or people that wanted to communicate with their babies that
right.
were thinking about having a baby and things like that. We had somatic movement, somatic healing. We did a kundalini energy group session. That was so good because the particular practitioner that does that work, I have to put you on her as well. The particular practitioner that does that work, when I first experienced her, I felt like how you probably felt when you saw the festival. I was like, who is this woman? Where did she learn how to do this? And can she do it to me? Like,
So funny is I practice Kundalini Reiki.
see, I'm telling you, y'all, listen, I'm practicing
You
with her
don't know
because
this, but like I think you and I are becoming best friends.
let's do it. I'm telling you, when I saw her, I was like, this. I already had dreams that I was teaching children how to manipulate energy. And one of
Oh
my friends
wow.
had that same dream. And she called and told me, she was like, yeah, we were outside, like, Bob. I'm looking at a pole outside my house. She was like, the light was on a pole. We were standing outside, and it was a group of kids around us, and we literally were manipulating energy and showing them how to do it. I said, I had that same dream. So I know that there is, honey, listen, I didn't tell you that I actually started working with children first, and then I transitioned into birth work. So I know that soon is going to be full circle because I feel myself moving closer to death and bereavement work.
Mm,
And I'm just like, it just feels like one of those things where doulas
full
may
spectrum.
start in postpartum or birth, but eventually we do kind of cycle through bereavement and maybe children and, things like that.
I started postpartum and ended up in fertility. I realized I could have a greater impact if I got ahead of it. My
Yes.
philosophy is the more that we can heal up front, the easier all the 4 phases would be: fertility, pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. If we can get, because I didn't have, because I lived through my experiences,
Yeah.
that's how I came to that conclusion. So that's
Yeah.
why now I do fertility work. Well, it's also
Yeah.
how I got pregnant, but like women deserve to go through motherhood uncomplicated, unburdened, like just like not harnessed with all this trauma. It would
Yeah.
make a huge difference if there was less to complicated. Things can go sideways in birth or wherever, but postpartum can still happen. But the less trauma that's in your tissues,
Mm.
how much more would you enjoy breastfeeding or your birth? How much
And
likely
mothering.
mothering, or how kinder would you be to yourself? Or like, what if your pelvis didn't lock during or stall out your labor?
And we know that happens a lot.
Girl, that's me.
Yeah, we know that happens a lot. You are doing some phenomenal work because fertility is one of those things that I will not teach people because that is not my wheelhouse. I will refer, like, got the best person for you. That is something that I am still teaching myself weekly because I feel just like you. And I think that is why I really, literally, when I woke up this morning, I was like, I already know next year the theme is going to be around fertility. Because in just preconception, a lot of things can be changed, transformed, avoided before we even become pregnant. And I think it's important, like you said, to start now, or however you see yourself having children or bringing children into this world. I think it's very important to start now before you actually have kids, so we can kind of like just release a lot of the things that, just could be avoided
I have a
later on.
question for you. I used to have this list of 8 things that was a checklist to heal within your womb that are the most common blockages I would have seen that would complicate someone's ability to conceive easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked with this amazing healer, um, trauma healer, and she does somatics, and she also is a biz coach. Her name's Catherine Havey. Changed my fucking life. And she said, "You're overcomplicating it." And I was like, "Okay, tell me more." And she said, "There's only 3 root causes to any wound. Choose one of these 3 buckets: a lack of safety,
Mm.
a lack of worthiness, or a
Mm.
lack of belonging or acceptance," which are interchangeable.
Mm.
And for me is I've always said, if I can help you feel safe, emotionally safe, physically safe in your body, so much will change within your womb. So much will change in your nervous system. That's before I even knew about nervous system anything. I always just said, because that was what was, if I can make you feel safe, I can help you heal. We can run miles.
That's
But if you
true.
don't feel safe, I can't even get you to crawl. So for do you see in any of the work that you do first of all, what do you think of those buckets
I
or
want
that
to say that
oversimplification?
I feel similar to you when it comes to nervous system regulation. Before I knew, just coupling those words together, I knew that if my body is not regulated, in a woman's body, if our bodies are not regulated, there are a lot of things that we won't be able to see. That is the red flags or the green flags, but there are
Right,
the red flags that we will ignore with our partners that we could have said, absolutely not, I'm not bringing a child in this world with you. Just saying. There are red flags that we may not see. There are things that we feel in our bodies health wise that we may not catch, because I can tolerate pain. But really, that pain is you have a headache because your blood pressure is through the roof. So there are a lot of things that happens when your body is dysregulated
right,
that we just kind of say like, oh, I always feel this, or this is how it always is. But really, your body is having a autoimmune response. Your body is having a stress response. Your spirit is communicating with you as well through illnesses and disease and all of
right.
that. So I think lots of safety kind of intertwines with my philosophy as well. And I want to show a book to you. I got this book in Mexico. So I think we probably followed each other around the time that I got back from Mexico. And I had did an indigenous healing retreat there. And while
Stop
I
it.
was
Share that
there,
with me later.
mhm, while I was there, a Mayan midwife did womb ceremonies on us. Yeah. So let me get this little book for you.
Girl, you know I'm geeking out over this.
I think I went to Mexico with them 3 times, if my memory serves me correctly. I think it was 3 times or 2 times. I'm not sure. I think it was 3 times.
Taking
But
notes.
so while I was there, she did these womb ceremonies. And I mean, even the shaman and everybody that like did healing work on us, they literally said, and this may go back to those buckets, but they said after the shaman got done like doing all this work on us, he was just like, oh my God, Black women, y'all are holding so much. He said, every time I'm invited to like these spaces with y'all and I'm doing this clearing work, girl, he did so much work on us. Like, he would come every day and be like, oh, all right, let's do this, because there's just so much going on.
I love that you said it was a man. I've never
Yeah, him and his wife. Yeah, it was him,
It's
his wife,
wild.
and I mean, he literally just kept like gifting us with ceremonies because he was just like, y'all are carrying so much. He said, every time y'all come from America and y'all come here and do this with me, like it's heavy. He said, y'all shouldn't be even the ones carrying this shit. Like he would literally be going off like in Spanish, just like, what are we doing here? So I knew that we were carrying so much, like you said, our tissues, honey, and our organs. Like a person energetically doing clearing work on this is just like, ooh, girl, what you got going?
I love that it was a man. I'm very skeptical of any spiritual men in leadership roles. I'm like it's immediately that's a no. But like
If you, yeah,
I'm always suspicious. I'm like so I instantly I'm
you
like
sound like me.
predator alert. But
I'm the same way. Yeah.
I'm just like, no. I think there was like even reports on TikTok, like there was like whole videos of like a study that was done or like a reporting of like anyway, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I
Yeah.
love that it was like a man and wife team. That
Yes.
what a cool dynamic to
Yes.
by a married couple or like a
It works.
partnership.
It
Love
works.
that.
They
That's
have a healing center in
powerful.
Mexico. They have a healing center in Mexico together. On their property, they have, I believe, 2 or 3 temescals. They have
That.
crystal pools that have like crystals in them and around them. Like, oh, baby, they doing the work. Okay. So this shaman and his wife, they did the ceremonies for us. So they taught us, we did a 3-day Sabata training with them, and from that, that's where the additional ceremonies came from, because he was just like, ooh, y'all can't be touching nobody and got all this stuff on y'all. So that is essentially how all of that happened. And I mean, he was very gentle with us, and it didn't feel like we were doing something bad. Like it was just more so like, all right, yeah, carrying a lot. Let me see what I can do to help clear this, and I'm just gonna do it for y'all because I hate that this is happening. And he literally said, like on our last night, he was just like, he affirmed us. He said, I really want y'all to go out here and do beautiful work because y'all are the original people. He said, we came from y'all. Like he was just going in, and I was just like, let me find out. So back to the Miami wife. She came, I don't remember the day that she came, but she taught us like how to create medicine from the placenta. And you know how sometimes here in the States we'll like create placenta encapsulation or we'll
Yeah,
bury placenta.
it's
So
pretty popular.
there she was saying their placenta in her community is for everyone. So the mother will pretty much give up her placenta. The midwife will make medicine. I still have like the little things that we created together. They'll make medicine. This is kind of like a salve. Oh, ooh, it still smells good too. So it's placenta, it's camphor, it's honey, raw honey that she went in, scraped herself, honey, a whole bunch of herbs. Like we prayed over everything. She cut a slice of the placenta, she blended everything, and she like was just teaching us every herb that went into it, what it does and how it heals. And she said, even though we're making this for y'all, I'm also gonna take this back to my community. And when people come to me for like any type of ailments or they need a Sobata or whatever the thing, she uses that for them too. And I was like, wow, that is definitely not like that here. We are using our placentas for ourselves, and not that any way is wrong or better, but just to kind of like give
Cultural
you
differences.
context of,
Yeah.
yeah, and their sense of community and what that looks like, even down to something that's coming out of your body.
Well, also, it's just different. Also, to think about it is that from a community perspective, they're revering the placenta with such reverence of sacredness,
Yeah,
whereas we're seeing it as biomedical waste. It's a whole
throwing
different
it
thing.
away. Yeah,
I just now started collecting my blood over the past, I don't know, 10 months.
I've been
Like,
thinking about it.
girl, it's so good. I started off by free bleeding on a towel, and now I've
Mhm.
upgraded to reusable pads I bought for this lady in Texas. And then, you can, wring them out, and then I give it to I got a rose bush for Mother's Day last year. So, I can only imagine but mind you, I am, like my little is 9, I'm one and done. So, like, this is 9 years after my birth that I've gotten to this point. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's gonna save every drop of my blood. So, like, if I were to give birth again, I would definitely keep my placenta. I did not see my placenta as sacred when I gave birth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hearing that, like, the cultural difference of like they are their community,
Yeah.
like this is our medicine because she is one of us, the
Yes.
law of one. That's such a difference. I really love that. Now I have a question about your festival.
Yeah.
Did you bring any of this ceremonies to your festivals?
So I really wanted the person that put on the retreat to lead that portion herself, but considering that she actually lives in Mexico too, it
Mm,
was kind of tricky. But we did have a closing of the bones ceremony.
what's that?
So
Closing
closing of
of
the
the
bones.
bones?
So essentially, when you give birth, your body is open spiritually. Your
Right.
body is also open physically. And closing of the bones is a particular way that you close the rebozo or any type of woven
Yeah.
scarf to like pull your hips back into alignment, pull your body back into alignment. And I learned some of that in Mexico when we had like a full day with a bone doctor, chiropractor here, but a bone doctor there, a Mayan bone
Nobody did
doctor.
that for me.
Yeah, he did adjustments for us and everything. So I'm telling you, like, we learned so much. So when we had the closing of the bone ceremony, I was just like, yes, this is perfect. Like, right on theme. So just to add context, or I guess clarity to what is happening at the festival, we do a lot of spiritual type workshops. And this probably is the conversation, but we do a lot of spiritual type workshops because we know our people. We know the things that we could add to our experience to help enhance what it is that we're navigating in our worlds. And a lot of times that's not just take this medication, read this book. You know, it's not as black and white as this society would like to tell us. And we are bringing back that spiritual element, that emotional element, that mental element that is not all about like just what I see in front of me. There is a whole
So much unknown,
thing going on
right?
here and around us. And, you know, we're just doing our best to bridge all of that together. Now, with that said, it's also very tricky when talking to these organizations and wanting to partner and collab and seek funding because there are times where we have to tweak what we're saying. So they're not like, motherhood healing, what is that? So you really gotta navigate it a different type of way depending on who you're talking
Yeah, it's
to.
really
But
quick to get demonized or
yeah,
villainized or
yes,
vilified.
yeah.
I know. I've
Especially if
been
what
burned
you're
so many
doing.
times, it's not even funny. Like,
Yeah,
"You're going to
exactly.
hell."
Exactly. Especially what you're doing is very different from what they are used to. And also, even the people that attend the festival, it is very different from what they're used to. No telling how they may respond to it. And that's why we try to like ease everything in to where it's like, we are not doing anything at the festival that's saying like you have to be a priestess or you have to,
Right.
practice a particular spiritual system. It's more so like body based and embodied care and things that you can literally take home and do yourself and experience it for yourself and come to your own like conclusions or awareness about what that looks like. But
I love that
yeah.
because the more that a person can take techniques home and continue practice
Yes.
is more balance, more grounding, more healing, more breakthrough that
Yes.
they're gonna have, but also, like, the journey of their self-exploration is so powerful, like, from when
Yeah.
you are doing, like I remember when I was in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, oh my gosh, I got Himalayan salt. Now I'm, like, a full teapot of, like, pouring my tea in, like a full, like
Yes.
I'm like my husband's like, "How do you know that's good for your womb?" I was like, "If it can go in my mouth, it can go in my pussy."
No, that's me, honey.
And I was like, "The lady said this is good for my cramps." I was like, "It's literally good for my cramps." It's like a whole teapot. And but the first time I did it, I didn't brew it in the teapot, steep it.
Yeah.
I just put the leaves in the tub.
I love that. I still love that. Yes.
I did it. I was like, "Oh, I could
Yeah.
do it a different way next time." My husband's like, we have, like, tea bags you could put that in, or you could have put in the teapot." I was like I was just going for the gold. It's like,
I used to
I was, like, steeping
I did that too. Yes, I did. I
I
did
mean, we
that
all
too.
start somewhere, but, like, it's
Yeah.
the thing is of, like, trying on different
Yes.
techniques that really work. Like, right now I've been really into candle work, and I got that from an online workshop that I took,
Yeah.
and it was like, I don't know necessarily what the flame means, but it's helping me be more in my body.
Yes.
So, like, anything that you can take away from your experiences, I think is such a good benefit regardless
Yeah.
of the person's faith background.
Exactly.
'Cause baths are not, baths don't care if you're a Christian or a witch
Period.
or yeah, you just still gotta
Period.
bathe. We hope that you're
Yeah.
bathing.
Yeah. We're gonna trust that everybody is bathing, hopefully.
I
But
learned recently from TikTok, if you're not bathing, like, with 2 soaps, like, there's a whole process.
my goodness.
Did you learn that?
Let me just say that
Did you learn about that? No, I learned so
I
much.
heard people talking about it on TikTok, like their shower rituals that they're doing. I only saw one video though, like, sat through and watched a video where someone was sharing her shower ritual and she was just kind of like, I didn't know that people weren't doing this. And it was like a 6-step shower ritual with like 3 different soaps. And I was just like,
Oh,
y'all,
yeah. I went and upgraded soaps, like, I didn't know I needed different soaps. So now I have
listen,
Dial, and then I have, like, Dove, and then I have the
listen.
fragrant one, and, like, I got it because the
I
girl told
naturally
me.
have 3. I naturally have 3. I
Girl, I
have
just had
Mars.
1. I
That's
just had
okay, but that's okay because I feel
No, the
like,
girl said I needed Dial, so I
oh
did
my
what she
God.
said. I did what she said. I have to stop doing that. I got in trouble with my hairdresser. I oiled my hair too, and, my curls went flat,
See,
but it hurt my head. Like,
see.
I had to but I got clarifying shampoo now. Like, I oiled
Okay.
my hair because I thought I wanted to have but apparently anyway, I
Everybody can too. I'm telling you, like
no,
the
shout out to
3-step
Destiny.
or the six
She
step
ripped me a
is
new one.
good. See, it's good for some people, but I feel like we all have different skin. We all have different skin, and we all have to protect our skin barrier in whatever way that is. You feel me? Now, something that I like to use is my gloves, my exfoliating gloves. I love that. I have ditched the washcloth except for my face and, the little things I'm gonna need. But mine is the gloves. That is my thing. But I will say, like, as long as you are exfoliating your skin in whatever way that looks like, however often your skin is like, all right, this is enough.
I love
Then
this.
just do that. Just do that. You'll be good. My book.
Tell me about you have a book?
No, I wish, Lord, I would be on a campaign on a book. So this is a book that I learned about in Mexico. It's called Knowing Ourselves. And it
Oh.
says, what does the body want to tell us with diseases? It is by Joman Romero. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And this is the book that I got when we started learning about Sobata and just womb care and everything like that. And really quickly, when the Mayan midwife touched me, she said, I'll show you a video too. When she touched me, she touched like right above my womb space and she said, there's a ball there. And I said, a ball? I don't have cysts. I don't have fibroids. Or so I thought. And she was like, don't worry, we're going to get this out of you. And she did like a whole, she laid um, herbs on me. She laid a cloth on me. She burned it. So it was like literally a flame coming off my stomach. And she was like, let me know when you feel it. And I just kind of laid there for a little bit because I didn't feel it for a while. She was like, do you feel this? And I was like, no. So either my womb was cold or I don't know what was going on, but I finally felt it. And then she put it out and she did like a maneuver. She was teaching us the maneuver and everything. And 10 days later, I was stepping into the shower in the ball set and just went on down the drain. Yes.
Like a
Yeah, it wasn't a clot. It looks like a bunch of tissue just in a ball. That's the best way that I can describe it because it wasn't like bloody. It just looked like a whole bunch of just like internal tissues is the best way that I can describe it.
That's some wild
And I'm
stuff.
telling you, as fast as I saw it, it was gone because the shower was on. So as soon as I just stepped in, like my body is getting wet and it just said bloop and just went on down. And I was like, what the hell? Like it was crazy.
Did you
Cause
tell her?
I wish I could have caught it and like maybe saw what it was or anything, but yes, I told everybody because I was just like, we missing out. We losing the recipes. So I'm like, this is a recipe. Like we need actual hands-on body. We need body-based healing. We need body-based womb care as well as the energetic womb care and pregnancy and all of those things. They do sobatas when people are pregnant too.
Wow.
So they are
Sobata
doing
is like a
massage.
massage.
Yeah, it's a massage. It's a massage. And the thing about Sobata is it's not just for the womb. They have the back ones, they have the leg, they have the chest, they have the arm. Like different things are working different areas of your lymphatic system and just getting deeper into those tissues so you can release that stored energy and just like all that material out of your body. And it was 9 days of just like work, like body work,
Oh my
energetic
gosh.
work. Like it was amazing. And I truly feel like that helped me create the festival because I knew what it felt like to go through an experience like this multiple times and actually receive the healing in real time and also later, i.e., stepping in the shower and a ball coming out of me. So I knew what that felt like. And I was just like, I just feel like at the top of my mind was always, what can I realistically do in the time frame that we have to just start the initiation of someone's healing or add to their healing journey or maybe conclude something for them. And that is just the energy that I've been coming with these, last 2 years, and now we're heading into year 2 of the next festival. And yeah, it is a healing experience. And it is also an experience for people that are looking for their community even more, wanting to expand their village, wanting to find more sisters in their area. And then also just find the resources that are near you. Like, I feel like naturally people talk and they attend the workshops together and they learn more about each other and their families. And then I start to see them online on social media going out for tea, going out to eat, like having dinner with each other's families. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like commenting like, wow. And I'm like, listen, you can't make this up. So like it is becoming everything that it was intended to be. And even if I never did the festival was going to happen because it came into someone's awareness and they were like, hey, there's this thing that's happening in the ethers. Either you gonna do it or it's gonna go to the next person. And you probably had great ideas and was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this and slept on it. And then you get online and you see somebody else doing it. You're like, how in the world did they know what was in my head? Because it didn't just stop with you. God said, okay, Carolina, you gonna do this thing? Okay, you're not gonna do it? Okay, bitch. let me go give it to
It's
somebody else.
coming
So
through someone else then.
yeah, so these things we have to act, even
So I
if
want
we
to
don't
get some
always know.
details of the
Yeah.
festival. When is it?
The festival is Sunday, April 12th, 2026 in Griffin, Georgia. It will be happening during Black Maternal Health Week.
Love that. And for anyone that is wondering, what is a typical that they would fly into Atlanta and then they would drive? That's probably the closest airport
Yes,
if they're
Hartsville
not already in
Jackson.
Georgia.
Yeah, Hartsville Jackson is the closest airport. Some people just depending on the type of experience that you want. Some people decide to stay in Atlanta and then travel to the festival, which is about a 45-minute, maybe an hour
I would think
drive.
about 45 minutes in Atlanta.
Yeah,
Like,
headed south.
yeah.
But last year, majority of the people stayed in the Griffin area, and they
Okay,
just kind of
great.
like hung out here and things like that. So it was very nice. And then this year we are adding a sensual wellness experience, which is our pre-festival event. So yeah, we're gonna be doing some things the whole weekend.
And what are some of the workshops that you're highlighting this year?
We are highlighting a birth workers. I think one of the work. Oh, don't judge me because
No,
festival
just
planning brain. But I'll
no.
say we are doing a birth workers. I think it is ceremonies or rituals for birth workers. There is also a workshop that is for birth workers as well. That is more so about like trauma and how to navigate your own nervous system to kind of continue to show up in this work.
Right.
We have a few womb health circles and workshops, not only for women, but also for children. We did a little girl's rites of passage last year. This year we are adding men's workshops. So men's healing workshops.
Love that. So
And these are
important.
for the partners that are coming. So it's not a lot of dads and, men that will be there, but for the few, because last year we had one. We literally had one outside of like my husband and like the men doing the background stuff. but they all had on all white and everything like that. And I was just like, look
They're
at this
there
divine
supporting.
masculine presence. So some of our planning committee and also some of the attendees were like, what if the men were there and they served us? And I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna have them serve us, but I'll create a little workshop in case they come. We'll put them off over to the side. So yeah, like it's a lot of things that's happening this year. I post all of the workshops that's happening on our social media, Motherhood Healing Festival. So, throughout the next couple of weeks, you'll start to see what's happening at the
And
festival.
how can people, if they can't attend, how can they support your event?
We have an email newsletter that everybody can join. The link is in my bio. And then also we have a fundraiser. We've already raised, I think we raised about $3,800 so far. We have about 6 weeks left. But nonetheless, baby, we did everything that we did for that festival last year. We only had $4,000. I did all of that with $4,000. So yes. Yes,
You
ma'am.
worked it.
Yes, ma'am. So this year I said, what does it look like for us to be more resourced and to have the funding that we need? And, I mean, it is happening slowly but surely. So if anyone would like to add to the cause in whatever way, we are adding brochures and resources and information in our actual physical festival swag bags. And we're also doing a digital swag bag. So, it's different ways for people to get involved, help us get that money, add their products and services to the festival swag bags or the digital swag bags, and also join our email list. Follow us on Instagram, illuminate the message and what we're doing. I
And
would
what's your
greatly.
handle on Instagram so they can follow you? Because I know you have more than one.
My handle is the Motherhood Healer, and the festival's handle is Motherhood Healing Festival.
Love that. Go and follow. We'll link it in the show notes and all of the links for your newsletter and the festival and where they can get tickets. And we'll put it at the top so it doesn't get missed.
Yeah.
And for anyone that is listening to this and we're celebrating Black History Month and Black maternal health, what is something that you want them to take away? I want to highlight your voice because you're so important. What is something that you want them to know?
I would say that Black people are the epitome of resilience and joy when it comes to a people who were enslaved and brought here. Some of us enslaved and brought here and expected to just literally die. We are the epitome of a people who prevailed through the unthinkable and by the grace of God made it out, thriving as much as we can and just truly doing what we can to give back to the land, give back to the people, and not let how it started be the defining factor of how it ends. So, yeah.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you said yes to being here. Thank you for sharing all the information about your festival. And I know it's going to change lives. It already has. And thank you truly from the bottom of my heart for gracing me with your presence. And until next time, my friends, let the Reiki flow.
Thank you.